Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about how are delivery fares calculated. So this article kind of goes over how the UberEats Pay Model actually works. I want to go over everything on this, what they are telling you, how it actually is, and everything in between on the subject so that way you know what to expect on Uber Eats. So with that said, let's get started. Here's how your fare is calculated. Base fare plus trip supplement plus promotions plus tips equals total. So this is very similar to the DoorDash pay model where it's base plus promotions plus tip, except since Uber as a whole, not just Uber, Uber Eats, and Uber Connect, they all operate on a distance algorithm because the majority of it is a GPS system. So they're actually very good about calculating payment per distance. The reason why they make base pay and trip supplement two different things is so that way people actually have a minimum base pay that they could depend on. The base fare, trip supplement, and promotions are used to calculate your upfront trip earnings. You will see how much you will make on a delivery before you decide to accept it. Uber controls the base fare, trip supplement, and the promotions, whereas the customer controls the tip. However, you're not going to be able to tell the difference from the accept screen. Base fare includes your pay for pickup, drop off, time, and distance. So they say time and distance, but they calculate time by the distance, and they really don't explain how that operates, so take it for what it is. And the distance they're talking about is from where you are when you receive the order on your phone, whether or not you accept it or decline, to the merchant, and from the merchant to the customer. That's why they say the pay for pickup and drop off. Trip supplement, added to make every delivery worthwhile. A trip supplement payment takes into account many factors to make sure trip earnings are reflective of that trip, such as when we notice the total time and distance, including your travel time to a restaurant, is longer than expected. Now, they don't really adjust that after you've already accepted the order. The way I like to talk about trip supplement and base is kind of like almost regulating how much you should be paid for the time and distance you're actually being paid. No matter what, those two will always find a way to calculate itself to where it's at least $2. The minimum I've ever seen it is $2. The only exception to that rule is if it's a stacked order, in which case it's $1.50. And it really could go as high as it possibly can, depending on how many times it was declined, depending on how many miles the actual order has from the merchant to the customer and from you to the merchant. Promotions, boost or surge. I'm going to go deeper into that subject in a different video. Tips. 100% of your tips belong to you and are always in addition to your earnings. So when you see an order on the accept screen, they're going to show it to you as a total. The tips will always be reflective of up to $8 of the tip will be shown to you. The rest is going to be hidden. Total, you will always earn a base fare and 100% of your tips. Availability of trip supplement and promotions may vary. An Uber service fee is subtracted from the gross fare to calculate your earnings for the delivery. So they actually show you all of that in the app under earnings activity. So if you go under more details, they'll actually tell you customer paid, what was paid to Uber, and they will tell you what is paid to you. They'll break it down right in there for you under earnings activity, and they do it for you that day, which I think is pretty cool. Now, you might notice when you complete a delivery that the number that you received is less off the bat, but the tips come through about 90 minutes after. I'm also going to go through the frequently asked questions on this subject. What is trip supplement? This new earnings component takes into account many factors such as total time and distance, including the time you spend traveling to the restaurant. Trip supplement helps to make every delivery worthwhile and will appear on your trip receipt when available. What are my new base fare rates? Rather than publishing base fare rates to explain earnings, we will be showing an upfront guaranteed minimum amount that is inclusive to your total trip earnings before you accept it. We believe this is the easiest way to understand how you will earn at the time of a request. To view the exact base fare payments, refer to trip details once a delivery is completed. So from what I heard, actually speaking, they were not showing the base fares or the tips at all when they just got started. Why did the trip request screen change? Based on feedback from delivery people, we have added more upfront trip information so you can have a better picture of the delivery, including a guaranteed minimum amount, estimated total travel times, restaurant name, and pickup drop-off location. You see, that's exactly my point. They weren't showing that before. Now, sometimes Uber has a glitch and they just don't show that information at all. But that being said, when that time happens, just hop off. It'll come back. What is a guaranteed minimum amount and how is it calculated? This is the amount you now see up front on a trip request screen. It is the minimum amount you will earn for a completed delivery. This amount includes your base fare, promotions that are available, and a trip supplement if eligible. Customers' tips are also included in the upfront guaranteed minimum amount. However, customers have up to an hour to adjust any tips. You will be able to see the final earnings amount in your trip details 1 hour after drop-off. Yes, they could add more, but they could also reduce it, if not take it away entirely. Those people are referred to as tip baiters, and no one likes tip baiters. That's just a fact. What if I decline a request? We understand having control of your delivery experience is important, so we do not penalize for declining a request. However, we cannot guarantee another request will come in immediately. Now, that's a way for them to kind of put a little fear into you on the subject of, oh, if I decline, when will I get another order? Don't even worry about that. That's why you multi-app. That's why you have a side hustle you work on while you do all this. Don't let them guilt you into taking bad orders or put fear into you for taking bad orders. And I skipped a few questions here because they are either repeats of what we already said, or they're just not relevant, or they're just not something we really need to talk about on this video. So I'll leave this article as well as the article prior in the description so you can check it out for yourself. I'm just gonna say one other thing about this and cap it off. You are not paid for your time on Uber or Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash or any of these apps for any reason. You are paid for the work you're doing. You're paid per delivery. You're not paid for sitting there and doing nothing. So if you sit there for an hour and you do nothing, you get paid nothing. That being said, that's also not a bad thing either, because you can end up making more per hour depending on how busy your market is by just working harder, which is something I really like about Uber Eats. And Uber Eats is also really good for short distance deliveries. It's going to be $2 minimum as a base pay no matter what. They're always going to show you up to $8 of the tip, no matter if it's a short distance delivery or a long distance delivery. And the base pay will get higher for longer distances, but if I know I'm getting a $10 order for like a mile or two, yes, please. Now, whether or not you think we should be being paid more or less, I think we should be being paid more, but realistically speaking, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So just focus on finding quality customers and making sure that you're getting paid the most as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!